April 24th here in southern Ontario, Canada. So, I was listening to Trudeau earlier, foaming at the mouth about Pierre Poilievre, and Trudeau was on about Diagolon. Yeah, the parody separatist movement, if you can call it that, with the mythical hallucinogen eating goat, whose name I can never remember. Time traveling hallucinogen eating goat is the head of the party. Anyways, I couldn't listen to Trudeau anymore, so I thought I'd take an internet trip over to Europe to see what was going on. So here's what's going on in part. Worldwide, there's at least 64 countries having elections this year. That's unprecedented, right? You've probably heard about that. As much as 49% of the population of the world, although Wikipedia claims it's 25%, but everybody else says like 49%. But what we see happening in Europe is a move to the right, what's called the populist movement. Now, this is interesting. The European Union Parliament is holding their elections this June. More than 400 million European Union citizens can vote from May 23rd to 26th. You might want to note that if you're eligible to vote over there. Which now brings us to Italy and Giorgia Meloni. Meloni? Yes. Now, after 2 years in power, she's polling slightly higher than she did going into the election, which is, well, there's something to be said in that. Meloni has taken a firm stance on mass migration, amongst other things, and the Italian economy is doing well. It's bubbling along a little bit upward. So she's got the people behind her. When she was running, the left called her a far-right extremist and a fascist, no less. But she seems to be doing well, and she seems to be having an influence and is doing her best to influence the European Union Parliament politics. The president of the European Union, Ursula von der Leyen, if I'm pronouncing that right. Now, I've been watching her, and she seems, well, she struck me as being pretty far left all along. Some of the stuff she said in Brussels, in the European Union Parliament, regarding the farmers' revolts all across Europe. Well, seems she's cozying up to Giorgia Meloni. I guess she's softening her leftist approach. Obviously, she wants to retain her position. So, we see a move to the right. Giorgia Meloni's party is the Brothers of Italy Party. And they are part of, let me see here now, the European Conservatives and Reformists, which is the parliamentary group, the ECR, in the European Union. So, bottom line, my takeaway, looks to me like a lot of the European countries, not all of them, are sick of this leftist stuff and sick of the WEF. So, well, it remains to be seen what happens in June when the election results come in on the European Union Parliament and the election results on the European countries. How many of them move to the right? Because a move to the right is a move, well, I guess I better say away from the WEF, the UN, the WHO, and the IMF. Another thing I'll have to take a look at, I guess, here is the UN Security Council is holding an election this year as well. I'll have to see what that's all about, because we know the UN is WEF. I think I mentioned before they signed an agreement with the WEF to hasten Agenda 2030. You can Google that, it's fact. And the UN Sustainable Farming Agenda, which is why all the farmers in Europe are in revolt. So anyways, good news out of Europe. Thus far, anyways.